trading and answering quick.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital. This is the Creativity 202 check-in for October 15th, 2023. I want to welcome Mark as our guest today. Just quick, I'm going to try a 1-minute introduction. So, Creativity 202, the course, is the intersection of three bodies of knowledge. The Creativity Story Science of Angus Fletcher, and we are using the Handbook of Creativity for Army Leaders that he wrote for me to use with the Army at our college to drive a set of 30 lessons that will reliably increase our creative capacities because it activates those parts of our brain that evolved over millions of years to find new ways to respond to dangerous worlds and share those ideas through stories and inspiration. So there's a lot of evolutionary biology in our cognition, the way our brains form. Stories unleash that. That's the science and research that I do with him and that he does at Ohio State University as the director of the world's leading think tank on story science. Best-selling author, award-winning professor, amazing guy. Just got published one of our projects in Harvard Business Review with one of my students. He's just amazing. So that's one body of knowledge, Western story science. The second body of knowledge is my technical trading techniques, which I have included my own write-up and an experiential learning exercise for each of those 30 lessons that Fletcher did with a military framework. I provide a experiential learning exercise with a trading experience that is fundamental to the way that we teach. Between those two sets of short experiential lessons, all these guys work their butt off each week to go through them, to reflect on it, to find the thing that resonated the most with them, even if it was something that carried over from the previous week's discussion. So previous week's discussion, their own reflection, their own lived life, or the Fletcher experience, or my experience, one of those things is going to provide something amazing each week. And we want them to reflect on that and bring a short story about it to share in a true story circle here. So the first body of knowledge is Fletcher's story science. The second body of knowledge is my experiential learning about trading and adult learning theory. And the third body of knowledge comes from my mentor, Professor David Boji, who invented true storytelling as part of his expertise in the art of storytelling as seen through the eyes of indigenous cultures. He invented the discipline of organizational storytelling 40 years ago and is still by far the #1 cited academic scholar in narrative inquiry, story sense making in the world. And it's my privilege to work with him. I'm writing a couple papers for him for our next annual Quantum Storytelling Conference, and it's everything that you could imagine that it is from the name. So when we're in a true story circle, we come in with the intention of telling the best truth that we can about something significant to us at the emotional level in order to share that truth with others so that the people may thrive. And that while we're in that circle, we have created a safe space in which people can trust each other to live up to that intention and to tell the truth as best they can, as seen by the evidence of experiencing that, and that we are engaging not in judging each other, thinking hard about the story that they're telling, offering insights or wisdom of our own, processing that information. We are only there to empty our bowl and fully experience the truth of their story and let it sink deeply into our bones, so that when we leave this story circle later and we reflect on this over the coming week, something from that is going to emerge when it's time and in the right place that'll help us understand more about our world. So we're engaging in non-judgmental deep listening. Guests are invited to participate in this ritualistic experience. We invite you to introduce yourself, and we invite you to politely and deeply listen, and we appreciate you having there as a witness to what it is that we're doing. We'll give you a chance later to comment when we ask everybody for the one word that bubbles up that summarizes whatever this experience means, and we carry that word for the week with us into the week ahead, and that becomes one of the things that we think about as we go through the experiential exercises from Fletcher and from me and from listening to each other's stories. And that's, in essence, the three bodies of knowledge that come together for Creativity 202. It runs on a structured process of that ritual is what we do. People take the course at their own pace, and whatever lesson they're working on is the lesson they report on. But there's no intention or requirement that everybody's on the same lesson. That's unmanageable. We just respect that everybody's doing their thing, and they're going to come and tell us an amazing story that was triggered by all of this other material. So it just sort of works out that way. And some of these guys that are in here that you see have been here through other cohorts and are just staying with it because it's so darn interesting. I attribute most of the transformational growth in my own life over the last 4 years to this process, whether it's in trading, in soccer, in my business, in my family, in my personal relationships, my personal growth, all of that. Most of the transformational stuff that has occurred is a consequence of doing these true story circles and then combining it with this particular course has been amazing for me. Almost every big idea I've had in the last 4 years has come from exactly this process. So I'm a proponent. I'm a fan. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Greg to check in. I'm going to go in the order that I see you. And this is just a chance for a 10-second check-in, who you are, where you're at, what's up.